Welcome to Spurs Focus, your go-to spot for daily Tottenham news, transfers, and match updates. Don't forget to support the channel by hitting that subscribe button now. Let's dive into today's top story. It's the end of an era at Tottenham Hotspur, and possibly the start of a new one. Son Heung-min has officially announced his departure from Spurs after 10 legendary years, and now Thomas Frank is wasting no time lining up a replacement. Paris Saint-Germain's Kolo Muani is top of the shortlist, with Spurs ready to battle Juventus for the Frenchman's signature. Can he finally make his long-awaited Premier League move and fill Son's massive boots? Let's break it all down right here on Spurs Focus. Tottenham Hotspur are eyeing up a player who almost moved to Liverpool, as they now look to replace Son Heung-min. The legendary Spurs forward dropped the bombshell announcement on Saturday that he had made the decision to leave North London. The South Korean forward relayed his intentions on Spurs' pre-season tour of his home country, and he will leave a huge hole in Spurs boss Thomas Frank's final third. The Danish boss, while disappointed at the announcement, will now have to quickly turn his attention to bolstering his front line, with Paris Saint-Germain's Kolo Muani reportedly at the top of his list. The France international was of interest to Spurs in January, but spent the second half of last season on loan at Juventus, where he scored 10 goals in 22 appearances. He has also courted many suitors in the past, famously Liverpool and Manchester United, while Chelsea have also been linked with the star. Back in January 2023, Sky Germany claimed that Kolo Muani decided against joining Jurgen Klopp at Anfield in what would have been a rumoured $88 million deal. The striker rebuffed the Reds in favour of staying at Eintracht Frankfurt. Kolo Muani claimed he felt at ease at the Bundesliga side. However, after scoring 26 goals in just 50 games for Frankfurt, Muani was snapped up by PSG for 76 million in September of that year. The 26-year-old could have also made his way to the Premier League via Old Trafford. A report from The Athletic stated that Kolo Muani and Rasmus Højlund were United's top two forward targets in 2023, but the latter's age, profile, and slightly cheaper price gave him the edge. After leaving both Premier League giants red-faced, Kolo Muani had a solid debut season for PSG, starting 40 times and scoring 9 goals. Yet he struggled for minutes at PSG last season, scoring twice in 10 League One appearances, and so a loan to Juve followed. He flourished in Serie A, scoring 8 times in 16 games and registering 1 assist. His form was so impressive that Juventus are in for him again, but face stiff competition from Spurs. No offers have been lodged yet, but both teams are looking to get a deal over the line. If Spurs are the team to finally bring him to the Premier League, the Frenchman will have big shoes to fill in. Replacing Son, the iconic South Korean was signed from German side Bayer Leverkusen in 2015 and has gone on to score 173 goals in over 450 appearances for Spurs, eventually helping them win the Europa League last season. Speaking of his decision, Son said, "Before we start, I just want to share the information that I have decided to leave this club this summer," Son said. "Respectfully, this club is helping me to make my decision. I just want to share this before we start. It was the most difficult decision I have made in my career. I have spent 10 years at Tottenham. The main reason is I have achieved everything I can at Tottenham. I need a new environment for a fresh challenge. I'm grateful the club have respected my decision and wish Spurs well for the next season." Son refused to comment on his next destination. MLS side LAFC appear to be leading the race for his signature, while there is also interest in the player from Saudi Arabia. Thomas Frank's first North London derby at the helm of Spurs was not quite what anyone imagined. It was the first such game to be played outside of the English capital, and if anyone expected a pre-season encounter between Tottenham and Arsenal to be a friendly affair, then that idea was dispelled within minutes, in front of a record crowd of 49,975 inside the air-conditioned Kai Tak Stadium in Hong Kong with its roof closed. Tackles flew in from both sides. Christian Romero nutmegged the diving Kai Havertz, who in turn crashed into Jed Spence. Pedro Porro pushed Mikel Arteta away so he could take a throw-in, and Richarlison did, well, you know what Richarlison does. And for those who assumed that Arsenal would steamroll Spurs with some of their £200 million plus summer spending on show including Frank, favourite Christian Norgård starting, and Christian Mosquera, Victor Gyökeres and Martin Zubimendi all coming off the bench, then they would have been mistaken. Spurs always look better when they can get Romero and Mickey van der Ven in the centre of the backline together. And those two, allied with a strong defensive unit around them with the 4-2-3-1 formation, kept Arsenal's Saka, Havertz, Martinelli, Odegaard and Rice at bay to such a degree that Guglielmo Vicario did not have a save to make. Instead, it was Spurs who had the better chances, hitting the woodwork 3 times in the first half alone. Porro's corner curled past everyone and hit the right-hand post with David Raya, watching helplessly. Then Wilson Odobert drove into the box and his ever so slightly deflected low shot struck the same upright before the subsequent corner bounced against the left-hand post, then hit Richarlison and deflected up and over off the crossbar. Then came the winning goal, which was a pre-season beauty, albeit one that probably would have been ruled out in the Premier League. There was what looked like a foul in the build-up from Richarlison on Miles Lewis-Skelly, but that did not detract from the perfect technique of Pape Matar Sarr's finish from just over the halfway line as he clipped the ball up and over David Raya and into the Arsenal net after spotting the keeper off his line. It brought back memories of Harry Kane's halfway line pre-season strike against Juventus years before. Neither side created much in the second half as the changes came, but if anyone should have added another to the scoreline, it was Spurs after the hour mark. Following some quick feet from substitute Mathis Tel down the left, the Frenchman swung in a cross that Mickey van der Ven managed to head wide from a good position. Under Frank, the Spurs players have been put through individual training drills where they have to deal with a series of shots from all angles sent towards mini-goals in a small space. The aim is for them to react, slide and stop everything that comes their way and prevent any shot from any angle reaching the back of those nets. It has become something of a competition, and it's not just the defenders, but also the midfielders and attackers who take part. Everybody in Frank's team must be willing to throw their body on the line at a split second's notice to keep the opposition out. That was on full display against Arsenal and football. London asked the new Spurs head coach whether those sessions had already reaped their rewards in a game like this. Yeah, that is very pleasing, of course. I think we have been very clear that this was not a friendly. It felt like a competitive match, he said. I think you saw it was competitive, and if you played in it, it was competitive. Some of the bits we have been working hard on is the combination of defensive organisation, so high pressure, middle, low, so there are clear principles, and that desire to keep a clean sheet because that gives you a bigger opportunity to win matches. Frank banged the table with his hand midway through that answer to fully underline the need for defensive organisation. I think for the team we are building together, all the positive results or performances you can get just reinforce the messages we try to get into the players, and the team feel that, he added. That desire to defend was good. First half in general, we played very good overall. Second half, I felt we defended a bit too much. But that was good, and the set pieces I think were good as well. We defended very well, but were also very dangerous. This was another disciplined 1-0 victory for Tottenham that brought silverware, albeit the pre-season Herbalgy trophy rather than something on the level of the Europa League they lifted in May.